Dear students, welcome again after live class recorded video. Dear students, one thing I would like to tell you, thank you very much for your cooperation. I feel you always enjoy my class because I feel very good connection between you. Like every day, like every live class, I received your attendance from most of the students. I always ask question in the end of my live class. So it was very interactive kind of session between you. And every week, I always wait for your class. Really, I just wait for like today is Monday. I have to just take a class of 9 class students. Really, I really appreciate you for making a very good connection between me during this COVID-19 where we can't communicate directly. So we have just option of online live classes. Thank you very much. So dear students, I decided to just make one recorded video so that you don't need to just open all the videos for sometime it is like there is very less time and you want to do revision of full chapter. It will be difficult for you to open every video, and because some video there is a doubts like it just lose the connection sometime now. So I just prepared one recorded video, actually not one, I will just prepare two video. In this video I will just cover the topic till August examination, from start till organ specific tissue specific manifestation. And after next video I discuss about next topic, next half topic, principle of treatment, principle of prevention. In that way I just discuss with you my recorded video about types of immunity, vaccination, and types of bacterial and viral diseases. And this video till the topic organ specific tissue specific manifestation, side by side discuss some NCERT question, but I have just mainly I just cover the content because questions, NCERT back exercise and NCERT question already covered by Mr. Mandeep Thakur. Very soon they will also, I think maybe you will receive the video very soon, or may you have received the video on Facebook posting. So now let's start discussion of this chapter. Hanji, dear students, so let's start a chapter. Why do we fall ill? Before knowing the reason why do we fall ill, let us know the illness, disease, and health are related. First of all, discuss about health. Health, according to World Health Organization, good health is a state of complete physically, mentally, socially well-being, as given in definition. So, health is generally mean free from illness, disease, injury, lack of physical fitness. Health can be defined as state of complete physically, mentally, socially well-being. Means to say that that person is a physically fit, mentally fit, socially fit. Physically health means to that a normal function of various organs of body work properly. You can say it can be determined by physical medical test or physical examination. Now come to mental health. Mental health is associated with the mental satisfaction of person. It maintains a balance between an individual expectation and its achievement, and it is very difficult to maintain. Come to social health. Social health, a person is socially well-being, good relation, happiness at home, working place, with neighborhood friends, and it is very difficult to maintain. So, person is said to be healthy when person is physically, mentally, socially well-being. Now, what are the important characteristics of person having good health? A person is regarded to be healthy or having good health when he show absence of any infection, disease, absence of physically deformity, absence of any mental problem, absence of social tension, complete physically fit, purposeful life, absence of any hereditary defects, that person is taken proper balanced diet, and that person is free from any unnecessary anxiety. There is no social tension. That person is free from social and psychological tension, and ability to work efficiently at its best rate and living joyful in family. What is the difference between healthy and disease free? Before start discussion of it, if we are not comfortable or not suffering from any visible symptoms, we think we are disease free and that we are healthy. But this is not true. We may be disease free but may not be healthy, because health is something more than absence of disease. It is a state of complete physically, mentally, socially well-being, and disease literally means being not at ease or being uncomfortable. It is possible to be in poor health without actually suffering from some specific disease. So, health is considered that state of person, all body work, organs function at the best psychological level, and body as a whole is able to perform at its full biological potential. For example, I just give you one example. That example is a very good. If our grandmother or grandfather is able to go out to a market or visit neighbors, she or he has a good health. But if not able to do so, she and he is in a state of poor health. And when you are serious and keen to teach in classroom and understand the word, it is called healthy attitude. And if not interested, it is called unhealthy attitude. So now I'm just going to discuss between difference between healthy and disease free. First of all, I would like to discuss the definition of healthy. It is a state of physically, mentally, socially well-being. And healthy person refers to individual, like that person is a individual based and free from disease and full energetic and function at a full biological potential. And they are separate that some agencies, diseases like air, water, food. Disease-free person is a state when body is free from any discomfort, symptoms of disease. It also refers to individual. That healthy person refers to individual physically, socially environment, like healthy that person, they have effect of individual physically, socially environment. But disease free person only to individual, like that person is only physically, you have to just focus on that person. Individual maybe have a good health or a poor health, but in case of healthy, individual has always a good health. In case of disease free, they do not spread through any agency, but healthy they spread through some agencies such as air, water, contact and insects. Disease free person is related to able to perform all its function at the full biological potential, but healthy person is energetic and function at all biological potential, but disease free may or may not. Now come to the significance of good health. What is the significance of good health? Good health can be defined as healthy body, healthy mind, healthy attitude. Very important, because good health increases working efficiency of person. It leads to personal progress as well as progress and well-being of community and of country. Good health gives carefulness, positive attitude towards life. It enhances power of thinking toward right direction and better reasoning. Good health gives satisfaction of leading a purposeful life. It also helps in keeping a healthy interaction with friends, family members and colleagues. Next topic, that is condition necessary for a good health. Basic necessity for individual good health are they have to just take balanced diet, personal hygiene, clean, non-polluted, disease-free surrounding. They have to just take clean, non-contaminated food and water, clean, polluted-free air, healthy habits, regular exercise, no addiction to smoking, drinking, and maintaining a very domestic hygiene, good economic conditions to make a person happy and tension-free, and leading stress-free life. So now come to our next topic, that is a personal and community issue, both matter for a good health. As you know, personal health includes social, also it includes that social well-being of a person, since we are a part of society and in living community. Our personal health is equally influenced by community health, and community health depends equally on a personal health of people comprising the community. Think, let's suppose in your community, if drains are not cleaned, sewage water is accumulated at the places, garbage is accumulating along the door front of every house of community, mosquitoes are breeding in the dirty water, can you expect to have a good personal health? No. There will be possibility of spreading infectious disease and of poor personal health. So this is the responsibility of community like health to improve the maintain protect the health of entire community. It is the responsibility of government agencies like panchayat in villages and municipal corporation in city to maintain community health by providing following services, like they have to just provide a clean drinking water, they have to maintain a sanitary conditions, they have to just provide healthcare services, they have to just provide a good socio-economic conditions, and they have to just open a health education awareness about health and disease, and they have to just provide green open space, parks, playground, tree for fresh air and healthy environment. Now come to a main question that is very important, a difference between personal health and community health. Personal health includes the state of physically, mentally, socially well-being. Community health is maintenance, protection and improvement of health of whole, like it involves health of entire community. Only the individual maintain his or her health in case of personal health, but in case of community, whole community remains responsible. Clear? In case of personal health, individual can maintain his health by eating balanced diet, observing personal and domestic hygiene, consuming clean water, food, air, proper exercise, relaxation, and good habits. In case of community health can be achieved by provision for treating safe drinking water, proper disposal of sewage water, providing medical facilities, control of communicable diseases, and proper health education. Now come to a next topic. I about the disease. What is disease? The word disease, dis plus ease. With this means without ease, means a state of uneasiness, discomfort or disturbed ease, or you can say it can be defined as condition in which normal functioning of body or its some part of organ is disturbed, and it is a state of condition that may lead to discomfort, distress, health problem or death of affected person. Is that clear? This is all about disease. Now, what is the difference between sickness, disease, illness? Disease literally means without ease, uneasiness, when something is wrong with body function. Illness refers to presence of some specific disease and also to the individual perception and behavior in response to that disease. Sickness refers to state of social dysfunction. This was all about difference between disease, illness and sickness. Now, what do you mean by symptoms and signs? Let's suppose when a person is affected by disease, either the normal functioning or appearance of one or more system of body changes for the foods. These changes give rise to signs of disease called symptoms. Or you can say about symptom is that something going wrong in the body. For example, fever, headache, body itches, stomach, nausea. All the symptoms indicate presence of some specific disease. These symptoms helps the doctor diagnose the disease, but symptoms do not provide exact diagnosis of disease. For example, headache can be due to a fever, it can be due to blood pressure, problem of eyesight, stress, or even meningitis. So, signs are a definite clue or indicate a particular disease. For this, medical tests provide the correct diagnosis of disease. Like for Vidal test, we are just doing for corona typhoid, corona test is doing for coronavirus. So signs are that indicate presence of particular disease, that confirm presence of particular disease. Now come to a causes of disease. There are three types of causes. First is primary cause, also called immediate cause of disease or first level cause of disease. It includes causative agent like bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, worm. Infectious agent is responsible for the disease. Second is secondary cause, also called contributory cause for second level of cause of disease. In this case, a lack of good health represents second level cause of disease, or you can say ill health. For example, many people get infected with the same bacteria or virus by drinking water from a same source, but only develop disease. This possible reason can be a lack of good health, which may be because of two reasons: lack of good nourishment, poor genetic constitution. Like the person who are healthy or taking good nourishment do not contact infection. It means poor nourishment, poor health, poor genetic constitution makes a person prone to infections of germ. But these are a contributory cause or secondary cause of disease. And third is tertiary cause, also called third level cause of disease. It is due to improper facilities, or you can say first reason for this is poverty, lack of public services. This increased infection chance of diseases. For example, poverty will be because of poor nourishment. Also, poor people cannot avail expensive medical help. They will have to depend on public health services. So, poor people generally live in unclean surroundings without proper public services. They do not get supply of clean water and protection against mosquitoes and flies, so they are prone to various diseases. So, these are three causes of disease. After this, there are three NCERT based question, two NCERT based question. Like first NCERT based question is list three any reason why you would think that you are sick and ought to see a doctor. If only one of the symptoms were present, would you still go to doctor? Why or why not? Three symptoms to feel sick are cough, cold, fever. These symptoms may be due to infection. For proper diagnosis and treatment, one should go to qualified doctor. And for the answer of the second question, even if only one of these symptoms is present, it is better to go to doctor for proper treatment and to avoid further complication. Second question is, in which of the following cases do you think that long-term effects on your health are likely to be most unpleasant and why? If you got jaundice, second, if you got lice, or if you got acne. Correct answer is jaundice. It is a severe chronic disease. It takes several days for the patient to recover. It is a viral infection. In it, liver gets inflamed. Process of digestion is affected. And during this infection, bile pigment collect at several body places in the body and may even damage some of them. So, correct answer is if you get jaundice. Clear? Now, there are two types of disease on the basis of duration. One is acute disease and one is chronic disease. First of all, acute disease. These disease appears suddenly, produce severe symptoms and last for a short time. They last for not more than a week and do not have long-term effect on health. Example, common cold, cough, typhoid, cholera, diarrhea, malaria. Chronic disease. Chronic disease develop gradually and last for a long durations, even up to several years to long life. They cannot be cured completely. Their symptoms are mild but have several effects on personal health. Example is elephantiasis, tuberculosis, diabetes, blood pressure, chronic heart disease, liver infection, kidney malfunctioning. All are the example of chronic disease. Here we have to just discuss about difference between acute disease and chronic disease. Acute disease lasts for a short time, about 1 week. Example, common cold. Chronic disease lasts for a longer time. Acute disease case a major effect on health is very short time, and chronic disease it takes a long time to cause effects on health. Acute disease feeling of tiredness does not occur all the time. In case of chronic disease, one feels tired all the time. In case of acute disease, weight loss does not occur and one does not become short of breath. But in case of chronic disease, weight loss occur and one becomes short of breath. Acute disease do not have major effects on long-term effects on health, but chronic disease have a long-term effects on health. There are certain examples of acute disease: cough, cold, diarrhea, cholera. An example of chronic disease: arthritis, like joints in pain; diabetes, blood sugar level, in which there is a increase the level of sugar; blood pressure; and tuberculosis, disease of lungs. There are two types of disease: infectious disease, non-infectious disease. Infectious disease, which are caused by virus. Here you can see the picture: bacteria, virus, and infection always spreads from a sick person to healthy person. And in case of non-infectious disease, it is not caused by virus, it is not caused by infectious agent, it is caused by internal factors. These diseases are called also non-communicable diseases. So let's discuss in detail about infectious disease. It is also called communicable disease. Disease which spread by which spread from infected person to healthy person through air, water, food, vectors, physical contact, or sexual contact. Or you can say a disease that are caused by entry of disease causing microorganisms such as virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and these are also called communicable disease because they are transmitted from disease to person to healthy person. Examples are common cold, chickenpox, measles, typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis, malaria, AIDS. Now come to non-infectious disease. Non-infectious disease do not spread from infected person to healthy person. These are caused due to some internal factors in the body and not by external pathogen. For example, first of all, here certain examples are given of for this disease: rickets, scurvy. Rickets occur due to the deficiency of vitamin D. Scurvy occur due to deficiency of vitamin C. Night blindness, also occur due to deficiency of vitamin A. Diabetes related to blood sugar. Cancer, uncontrolled division of cell, high blood pressure. So all these diseases never, it is just restricted to particular person, never separate from one person to another. These are further divided into different categories, like these are deficiency disease, deficiency like anemia. It is only deficiency disease like certain deficiency of nutrients and hormones occur in our body, like diabetes, scurvy is due to vitamin C. Diabetes make your the blood sugar level is not high, or you can say these are occur due to deficiency of any nutrients, hormones in body. Now second is allergy. Allergy is the result of hypersensitivity, or you can say when the body is hypersensitive to foreign elements. Example, asthma, element, these elements are, you can say, pollen grains also, dust also. Next is cancer, uncontrolled growth of certain tissues, uh, the cells divides to form a tissue, they just form a tumor. Next is mental disorder, you can say depression, anxiety. All these occur due to internal factors, not from external pathogen. Addiction to alcohol and drugs, and there are certain degenerative disease like malfunctioning of any important organ. It includes heart diseases, arthritis, pain in joints, arteriosclerosis, hardening of arteries, malfunctioning of kidney, lungs, occur in aged person due to some changes in the body, physiological changes in the body. So these are comes in the category of known deficiency disease, which are just caused due to internal factors, not caused by external pathogen. So now comes to a difference between infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Infectious disease caused due to attack of pathogen. Non-infectious disease caused by factor other than pathogen. Infectious disease caused due to extrinsic factor. You can say external factors. And non-infectious disease due to cause internal factors. Infectious disease transmitted from one person to another. Non-infectious do not get transmitted from one person to another. Infectious disease transmission of disease occur through direct contact, but transmission in case of hereditary diseases from parent to offspring. Like there is chances that non-infectious disease can separate from, it never separate from infected person to healthy except in case of hereditary disease. Like genes, it can be passed from parents to offspring through genes. In case of infectious disease, hygiene can reduce the occurrence of this disease. Like community play important role so that we can just reduce this disease by taking certain precautions, because it is caused by external factor. We can just take a filtered water, clean air, for just so that we are not affected by this disease. But in case of non-infectious disease, community hygiene is ineffective in reducing these diseases, because these are caused by internal factors, and here examples are given for these disease. So, infectious disease which spread from a person to another person easily are called infectious disease, and the pathogen is an organism that causes disease, and vector is a carrier which spread the disease. It just carry the disease from infected person to healthy person. Infectious agent now that cause disease, organism that cause disease are found in a wide range of categories of classification. Like some of them are virus, some are bacteria, some are fungi, some are single celled animal or protozoa. Some diseases are also caused by multicellular organisms such as worms of different kinds. So here is a list of infectious agent and disease caused by them. Like virus causes common cold, influenza, dengue fever, AIDS, bacterial disease, typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis, fungi, common infectious diseases, protozoa, malaria, kala-azar, worms called elephantiasis, and fungi also called ringworm, and other skin infections. So these are a list of infectious agent and disease caused by them. And they can ask in exam like name to viral disease, name to bacterial disease, name disease caused by virus, name disease caused by fungi. So in this way they can ask question in exam. Beta, now if the now open the page number topic infectious diseases topic infectious agent. After the diagrams, the page number 182 in my book. After the diagrams given in this page book, you have to just come on the page number 182. In my book it is the 182. First paragraph, we have just discussed different types of diseases with the like they have just covered that list of viral infectious agent and disease caused by them. And then second paragraph, the topic is why is it important that we think of these categories of infectious agent. This is the paragraph. I hope everyone got the paragraph from NCERT books. Now let's understand this paragraph. Yes, these categories are important factor in deciding what kind of treatment to use. Member of each one of these group, virus, bacteria, and so on, have many biological characteristics in common. All viruses, for example, live inside the host cell, whereas bacteria very rarely do. Virus, bacteria, fungi multiply very quickly, but worms multiply very slow in comparison to them. And all bacteria are very closely related to each other than to virus, and vice versa. Or you can say, uh, like in case of that virus, it lives just inside the host cell, but bacteria rarely do. Virus, bacteria, fungi, they just multiply very quickly, and worms they just take a time for multiplying. modifications. This means that many important life processes are similar in bacteria but not shared with the virus group. As a result, drugs that block these processes in one member of group is likely to be effective against other members of the group. But same drug will not work against microbes belonging to a different group. Let's take an example of antibiotic. Antibiotics क्या करते हैं? Antibiotic block the cell wall formation of bacteria. For example, the cell wall to protect themselves, bacteria. But antibiotics, these are the chemicals that block the cell wall formation of bacteria. As a result, bacteria is not able to multiply and die easily. Clear? It is given the last paragraph. If you see, uh, in case of like penicillin, if you're just taking example of penicillin, human cell, why did bacteria not affect human body? This can be a question in exam. Human cell don't make a cell wall anyway, so penicillin cannot have such effect on us because they affect only on the cell wall formation. Antibiotics, penicillin is what? Antibiotic. Penicillin will have this effect on any bacteria that use such process for making cell wall. Similarly, many antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one. Is that clear? But virus, why antibiotic not work against viral disease? Because virus do not use this pathway at all, and that is the reason why antibiotic do not work against viral infection. This can be a question in exam. And if we have a common cold, taking antibiotic does not reduce the severity or duration of disease. However, if we just get a bacterial infection along with viral cold, taking antibiotic will help. Even then, antibiotic will work only against bacterial part of infection, not the viral infection. Like antibiotic only work against bacterial disease, not viral disease, because viral don't have such kind of biochemical pathway at all to deal with that So antibiotic will not be, one drug will not be able to work against that virus. What are the causes of this disease? The parasite named Trypanosoma brucei causes this disease. This parasite are present in flies like tsetse fly that is mainly involved in the transmission of this disease. When this fly bites a human, infection spread throughout the body through blood. These parasites can also transfer the placenta. Placenta means the mother to fetus through a tube. This parasite can also transmit this disease and when transmitted through the mothers to child. Contaminated renals are also responsible for spreading this disease. Now, what are the symptoms? Like lot of changes occur in the body after this infections, like unclear speech, irritation, swelling of brain, causes weakness in the body, and feeling of sleeplessness. Severe sweating, formation of red sores, mood changes, skin rashes, headache, develop several pain in joints, and the personality also get changes, feel difficult in walking and now, how we just can prevent from these diseases? Early recognition of this disease helps to avoid difficulty and major risks. Some of preventions and treatment include early treatment of infected persons, including the persons showing no symptoms, using the insecticide to protect oneself against the bite of this tsetse fly by maintaining clearing around the villages and also residential area, and use of repellents or fly traps to stay away from the fly. Now come to the next topic, peptic ulcers. Peptic ulcer also given in your NCERT book. It is given in page number 180 before the topic infectious disease. For many years, everybody used to think that peptic ulcer caused acidity-related pain and bleeding in the stomach and duodenum, where most of the lifestyle reason. Everybody thought that a stressful life leads to a lot of acid secretion in stomach and caused peptic ulcers. There were two Australians made a discovery that bacteria Helicobacter pylori was responsible for peptic ulcers, and Robin Warren, a pathologist from Perth, Australia, saw these bacteria in the lower part of stomach in many of the patients. He noticed that the sign of inflammation were always present around this bacteria. Then Barry Marshall, a young clinical fellow, became interested in Warren's finding and succeeded in cultivating the bacteria from these resources. In treatment studies, Marshall and Warren showed that patients could be cured of peptic ulcer only when the bacteria were killed off from the stomach. Thanks to the pioneering discovery by these scientists, peptic ulcer disease is no longer now a chronic disease, but a disease that can be cured by a short period of treatment with antibiotics. And they get a Nobel Prize for this medicine in 2005. This was all about peptic ulcers. So now let's discuss a different type of infectious disease caused by a infectious agent. Open the page number 181, topic under heading infectious agent. Come to a diagram 13.1b, picture of staphylococci. Beta, in exam, what type of question they can ask? They can just give you a diagram. You have to identify disease and you have to just write down disease caused by which organism and symptom of disease. Most of the time they ask this kind of question. They can just give you diagram. They can just ask to identify the organism, give a name of organism and disease caused by them, and give two symptom of this disease. But here I will just discuss it in detail. They just ask very simple question. You should know about disease, organism and symptoms, and little bit information I have given extra. Just go through it for your knowledge. So let's discuss about staphylococci. It is an organism, or you can say a bacteria, which cause disease acne. Acne is the most common in teenager and young adults. Symptoms are range from blackhead to pus-filled pimples or large red tender bumps. Acne signs and symptoms vary depending upon the severity of your condition. Whiteheads, blackheads, small red bumps, pimples which are papules with pus, large painful lumps below the surface of the skin. There are three main factors that cause acne: excess oil production, one is bacteria, staphylococci, and excessive activity of types of hormones. Like these age, teenage, like the hormones develop in our body, they just start producing this. And what about treatment? Treatment include over-the-counter creams, cleansers, as well as prescriptions antibiotics. For moderate to severe acne, you may need oral antibiotics. If the condition is not severe, then you have to just take antibiotic to reduce bacterial and fight inflammation. It is caused by this bacteria. Now come to our next disease. First disease 13.1a, that is SARS. It is a very important. Many students they have doubt in this disease. But again, I have just given detailed explanation about this disease, but so much information is not required as per your 9th grade. Why I have just given so much information? Because this is related to a coronavirus, so I have just given you much information, but you need to just go through this. But you need more focus about organism, disease cause, diagram you should know, which is given in the book. Because from the diagram, they can just give you a diagram in exam. You have to just identify the organism. You have to just write down the disease. You should know about the full form of this disease, and mainly symptoms is required. Okay, now come to SARS. What is SARS? It is a full form is severe acute respiratory syndrome. As you know, the coronavirus SARS caused SARS. Coronavirus is a common form of virus that leads to a upper respiratory tract illness, including common cold. Three other coronavirus causes are SARS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, this is a second syndrome, and third is COVID-19. SARS was a result of infection by coronavirus. Like you can say coronavirus consists of further family, it consists of family of virus. It is not a one virus. SARS is also coronavirus caused by coronavirus. Coronavirus includes other members of the family. One member is a SARS and other is a COVID-19. So SARS was a result of infection by coronavirus that scientists named SARS associated coronavirus. It is related to SARS-CoV-2, the virus that caused COVID-19 infection also these days, and that is very difficult to control. Now, how that disease separate, how this virus separate: hugging, kissing, sharing utensils for eating, drinking, speaking to other within distance of 3 feet, touching someone directly. If droplet from one person land on one object such as door handle, telephone, someone else can pick up the virus if these touch. If anyone touch these items. In 2015, scientists found evidence that SARS-CoV might survive on a dry surface for an extended period, possibly for several months. SARS is a virus transmitted through droplets that enter the air when someone with disease, cough, sneeze, talk, fever, dry cough, headache, muscles, acne, and difficulty breathing are the symptoms of this disease. Now, how it spread? By airborne respiratory droplets, by touching contaminated surface, by saliva, kissing or shared drink, by skin-to-skin contact, which you can say handshake or hug. Now, what are the symptoms? When SARS were occurring in symptom appeared 2 to 7 days after a person was exposed to virus, but they could take up to 10 days. First symptom was a high fever of more than 100 degrees centigrade. Other mild respiratory symptoms were similar to those of flu. Other early symptoms included itches, chills like third लगती है, diarrhea. These symptoms develop over the course of 7 days. After 7 to 10 days, the person might then have noticed a dry cough, shortness of breath, low oxygen level in the body known as hypoxia. Most people with SARS developed pneumonia, while some had long-term damage to their liver, kidney, and lungs. These complications were more likely in those more than 60 years of age, and most people with SARS made a full recovery. Diagnosis. According to World Health Organization, for diagnosis of SARS, person must have the following: a fever at least 100 degrees centigrade, one or more symptoms of lower respiratory tract illness such as cough, difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, radiographic evidence to suggest pneumonia, no alternate diagnosis to explain the illness. When it was occurring, SARS was rare and symptoms overlapped with those of flu and pneumonia. Test. Laboratory tests can help identify SARS-CoV. These include blood test, stool test, test of nasal secretion, imaging test to detect pneumonia, and these tests might not be reliable during the early stage of infection. Treatment. World Health Organization recommending isolating patient and using barrier technique to prevent spread of virus, including filtered mask, goggles. No drug, including antibiotic, appeared to be effective against SARS. Instead, healthcare provider offered a supportive care, including use of medications to relieve symptoms. Like that, they are just giving you a medicine that relieve the symptoms, such as fever, cough. In hospital, some people need to be a ventilator to help them breathe. Prevention. These preventions include washing hands frequently, cleaning with alcohol-based treatment, avoid touching the eyes, mouth, nose with unclean hands, covering the mouth and nose with tissue when coughing or sneezing, avoiding sharing food, drinks, utensils, staying at least 3 feet away from other people, regularly cleaning surface with disinfect. Similarly, anyone with symptoms of SARS would limit interaction with other people until 10 days after their symptoms improve. SARS appeared to be contagious only after symptoms appeared, and it was most likely to spread during the second week of illness, according to CDC. Takeaway. SARS outbreak occurred in 2002 and 2003. It resulted from the SARS-CoV, a coronavirus related to virus responsibility for the current COVID-19. When outbreak occurred, health authorities acted quickly and were able to prevent widespread disease. Since 2004, there have been no recorded case of SARS anywhere in the world. There is currently no cure for SARS, no vaccine against SARS-CoV, but scientists have continued to investigate. Let's discuss the next disease, that is Kala Azar, and it is caused by a protozoa Leishmania. Let's discuss it in detail. Kala Azar, it is a chronic, potentially fatal parasitic disease of the visceral organ, like internal organ, you can say liver, spleen, bone marrow, due to infection by a parasite called Leishmania donnelly. Kala Azar also increase the risk of other skin infections, and this disease leishmaniasis is caused by a protozoa Leishmania parasite, which are transmitted by bite of infected female Phlegmatomine swinefly. Kala Azar is a vector-borne disease. Like it's just carried by a sand fly, and it is just caused by a Leishmania donnavani and transmitted by sand fly. As I discussed with you, leishmaniasis, or you can say kala azar, is caused due to a parasite from Leishmania species. It just caused by a bitten by infected sand fly. The parasite live and multiply inside female sandfly. This insect is most active in humid environment during warmer month and at night from dusk to dawn. Domestic animals such as dogs can severe as a reservoir for the parasite. Transmission may occur from animal to sandfly to human. Human can also transmit the parasite between each other through blood transfusion or shear needle. In some parts of the world, transmission may also occur from human to sandfly to human. Dear students, leishmaniasis is also called black fever or kala azar. Now, what are the symptoms of this disease? Symptoms often does not appear for months after the bite with this type of disease. Most cases are happened 2 to 6 months after infection occurred. Common signs and symptoms include weight loss, weakness, fever, enlarged brain, large liver, decrease the production of blood cells, and bleeding. All these are symptoms of this disease. So its treatment, visceral diseases always require treatment. Like visceral disease means related to internal organs. Several medications are available, and commonly used medicines include sodium stibogluconate, amphotericin, B-paramomycin. The students don't need to learn this medicine; it is only for your knowledge. How can I prevent leishmaniasis? There is no vaccine medication available. That the medicines which I just told you, that is only to reduce the factor symptoms of diseases that I told you earlier. The only way to prevent leishmaniasis is to avoid getting bitten by a sandfly. Following these steps helps to prevent being bitten by a sandfly. Wearing clothes that cover as much as skin as possible. Long parts, long sleeve shirts tucked into pants, and high socks are recommended. Use insect repellent or any exposed skin and on the end of your pants and sleeves. The most effective insect repellent contain DEET. Spray indoor sleeping area with insecticides. Sleep on the higher floor of building. The insects are poor fats. Use a bed net tucked into your mattress. Sandfly are much smaller than mosquitoes, so you need a tightly woven net. Spray the net with insecticides containing pyrethroid if possible. So it was all that how we can just prevent from leishmaniasis. So what is ascariasis beta? A roundworm called Ascaris lumbricoid infect a person's small intestine, and this parasite getting nutrient from the small intestine tract. Roundworm lay eggs which then pass to a person's stool. It can spread when infected person defecates near a corpse. When a pupil do not wash crops and cook them thoroughly, roundworm get enter into a new host and start its life cycle again. Many people with this disease do not experience any symptoms until the infection has become severe. Now, what are the symptoms of this disease? This disease may not cause symptoms at first. As infestation inside small intestine grows, a person may start to notice symptoms including abdominal pain, loss of appetite like bhuk kam lagti hai, worms visible in stool, vomiting, impaired growth in children, weight loss, nausea, diarrhea. All these are symptoms of ascariasis. Now, in more advanced infestation, worm can travel to our lungs also. The sucker person may also experience symptoms including fever, discomfort in chest, cough, blooding mucus, shortness of breath, wheezing. In rare case, a person may experience complication known as pneumonia. Life cycle of Ascaris lumbricoid. If a person ingests the egg of Ascaris lumbricoid, the roundworm will progress through the life cycle with the host body. Like no need to learn that life cycle, but you should know about this as it just increases your knowledge. You should know because we are just doing the disease. It is not given in detail in your book, but still everything is if we are just doing one particular disease, you should know all about this. um, The stages of roundworm life are as given as follow. First of all, egg hatches into larva in the host intestine. The larva moves through the body through bloodstream to lungs. Larva will mature in the lungs before entering the throat. Person with either swallow or cough out the larva. If swallowed, the larva move into intestine and mature into adult worm. A female worm will also produce 200,000 eggs per day. An egg will leave the body in person's stool. Causes. Human feces cause contamination if an infected person defecates near a farming field or water source, or they use untreated feces as a fertilizer for crops. A person can contract ascaris by eating or drinking contaminated food or water, especially if they do not wash the food or their hands. Children may contaminate it by playing with soil or plants and putting their hands in the mouth. Diagnosis. Common method of diagnosis involves stool sample. Using a microscope, doctor can look for the parasite eggs in a person's stool. It can be difficult for doctor to diagnose early infestation as the eggs may not be present. A doctor may also order imaging tests to help them determine how many worms are inside a person and to locate them. Some imaging technique a doctor may use, like endoscopy to look inside the intestine, CT scan, MRI, ultrasound, and X-ray. So its treatment included like anti-parasitic drugs, and doctor may not aim to cure infestation but simply reduce the number of worms and eggs in a person to relieve their symptoms. Doctor may suggest surgery to remove large number of worms. Surgery is also a good option if the infestation block a portion of small intestine. Okay, now come to our next topic, means of spread, or you can say mode of transmission. Like in this they just ask the question how like what are the different way by infectious disease separate from disease to healthy person. In this way they just can ask the question in exams. Means of separate, or you can say mode of transmission, there are two ways. Communicable disease separate to healthy person in two ways: direct transmission, indirect transmission. Direct transmission of disease, first of all we will discuss. Hajj. First of all, the direct transmission of disease takes place by the following way: contact with infected person. Examples: chickenpox, smallpox. These diseases are called contagious disease, which just spread by contact with infected person. Second is a droplet infection. It occurs through sneezing, coughing, spitting. Common cold, tuberculosis, pneumonia are example of this disease. Contact with soil transmit the tetanus. I already discussed with you that like the pathogen from the soil just enter into the wound or the injury. That so in this way the transmission of disease can occur. Animal bites such as bite of dog, monkey transmit rabies virus through placenta. Placenta is connection between fetus and that mother, and the virus of AIDS is easily spread because they can easily cross the barrier at the placenta and just pass into the fetus. And syphilis is also transmitted. Both these are sexually transmitted diseases. This can easily cross from that fetus to mother to fetus. So these are the direct transmission of disease, the different ways. Now come to indirect. Indirect transmission of diseases, like in this case the pathogen of disease entered the body some intermediate agents. They need certain agents. First of all, through carrier or vectors. It include female anopheles mosquito which is a vector of malaria. Human louse spread typhus click mosquitoes, also vector for filariasis. So these are diseases which spread by these vectors and carriers. Next is through contaminated air. Pathogen of airborne diseases are transferred to air, dust, droplets emitted by sneezing, coughing, spitting. The disease transfer are common cold, pneumonia, tuberculosis. Then come to a next, that is through contaminated food and water. Some diseases are transmitted through contaminated food and water, like cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, hepatitis B are such diseases. Now through contaminated blood or injection needle. These can introduce AIDS pathogen into the body of healthy person. Now come to the next is fomite-borne disease. A very good example of disease is coronavirus. Articles that come in contact with the patient are also source of infectious disease. Disease spread in this mode are called fomite-borne disease. Patient clothes, utensils, currency, crockery, doors, handles of cupboard, doors and windows of room may be a pathogen. So these are the indirect transmission of diseases. Now come to a next topic, that is most of the students they have certain doubts in this topic, so please try to understand now this topic from my recorded video. Organ specific, tissue specific manifestation. Yes, after the entry of microbes in our body, do you know where do they go? So let's discuss it in detail. See, pathogen they can enter into our body through several routes, like they can just enter through nose, they can just enter through mouth, they can enter through skin, they can enter through blood. These routes are called portals of entry, and on the entry of the body, pathogen infects some specific organ. Infection may be related to portal of entry or some other tissue or organ somewhere else in the body and cause disease. So here we will discuss about portal related specificity and non-portal related specificity. First of all, anything else like person hai, it depends upon the point of entry. I already told you that is all called portal of the entry. Like tuberculosis caused by bacteria, entry point through nose to lungs. Like the pathogen enter through nose and then move to always affect respiratory tract. If the any virus है, it just in case of that, sorry, bacteria, tuberculosis, if bacteria hai, it entered through a nose, always it infect lungs, not going to infect the joints, not going to infect the stomach, because there is a specific route I already discussed with you. Like the infectious agent enter from a organ, specific organ, always affect specific, sorry, the pathogen enter from specific route always infect specific organ and accordingly they cause disease. In case of tuberculosis, like bacteria causing tuberculosis also enter through nose, infect lungs and cause respiratory diseases. Clear? In case of typhoid, if we're just talking about typhoid, pathogen enter through mouth, settle down in part of digestive tract and cause typhoid. Is that clear? So here you can see the diagram. It just moved to mouth to gut. Now come to a jaundice. In case of jaundice, what happened? What are the symptoms of jaundice? It is a yelling of skin, and these are the caused by liver and gallbladder disorders. Jaundice is caused by virus. Virus always enter through mouth, and then it just moved to a liver. Clear it? And cause disease. And always move liver from digestive tract. First of all, it just move to mouth, enter into digestive tract, then just move to a liver. Here we're just talking about AIDS, that is the sex organ AIDS. In case of AIDS, what happened? That HIV, it just enter into the body through sexual contact. It enter into the body through sexual contact or injection needle and spread into lymph node and causing AIDS. But this is a known portal specificity. Like pathogens settle down, infect organ which is not related to the root, like in case of which discuss in case of portal related specificity, like if virus or bacteria enter through nose always affect respiratory tract, this is specific related to root. But in case of AIDS, it is not specific, virus enter from somewhere else and infected a different organ. Or one example of these, we can just give a malaria also. Malarial parasite always enter through blood, through mosquito bite, but it goes to liver cell. After multiplying, they again return to blood. and then infect RBCs and cause malaria. So this is also known as non-portal specificity. You can say this is not related to like the pathogen settle down and infect the organ, which is not related to the portal of entry, not related to the root. We can also give another example, like we can just give example of Japanese encephalitis, which is a virus that causes this disease, entered the blood by mosquito bite, but just which is the brain, like enter through a different route and infect the different organ. So it is a non-portal. Clear? I just discussed this disease, that Japanese encephalitis, brain fever, mosquito virus injured through mosquito bite and infect brain. So, what point we have discussed in organ specific, tissue specific manifestation? Disease causing microbes enter the body by different means and goes to different organs and tissues. Microbes which enter through nose are likely to go to lungs. Bacteria which cause tuberculosis of lungs. Microbes which enter through mouth are always likely to stay in gut. Examples: typhoid, or you can say jaundice, the liver, and virus that cause AIDS enter the body through sexual organs during sexual contact and spread through lymph to all parts of body and damage the immune system. Virus that cause Japanese encephalitis, brain fever enter the body through mosquito bite but goes to infect the brain. First two examples are related to specific, like you can say portal related specificity, or you can say this pathogen settle down in organ related to the root and cause disease. But the next two examples are related to a non-portal specificity, like pathogen settle down infect organ which is not related to the root. Now, certain paragraphs given in the NCERT book about in this topic, you have to just go through the NCERT book, and topic is what it is also given this under this topic. If you just see the NCERT book, a common infectious disease of the body. This paragraph is just given in the. You just open the book, Pache. I just tell you which this paragraph is given in which this paragraph is given in the, you just go to a page number 184. I have just old book NCERT. I don't know in your book, new book, which page is given, but it is the under paragraph topic organ specific, tissue specific manifestation. If you see this topic, first, second, third paragraph we have covered. Then come to a fifth paragraph. First of all, that paragraph starts from in addition to these tissue specific effects of infectious disease. Please come to this paragraph. Now you just try to understand this paragraph. I hope you got my point. Paragraph starts from in addition to these tissue specific effects of infectious disease, or you can say a heading is common effects of infectious disease on the body. If like we just suffer from any disease, like what are the common effects of disease on the body? Okay, now come to this topic. When pathogen enter our body, our immune system, it gets activated in response to that pathogen. First reaction of immune system is what? Movement of macrophages and white blood cell. These white blood cells fight against pathogen. How? By releasing certain chemicals. I already discussed with you. These chemicals are called antibodies. These defensive action of immune system of body in response to pathogen is called inflammation. There are certain effects, local effects, general effects, and as part of this process, there are local effects such as swelling and pain, and general effects such as fever. And most of the time, when we ask question in exam, what are the local effect of infectious disease on the body? What are the general effect of infectious disease on the body? What is inflammation? What are the common effects of infectious disease in the body? I hope this paragraph is now clear to you. Now come to a next. Okay, now come to a next paragraph. that is above this paragraph. Please see the NCERT book, sign and symptom of disease. Okay, now बच्चे, sign and symptoms of disease are related to organ of the tissue which is infected by pathogen. You can say, if the lungs are target, then symptoms will be always cough, breathlessness. If liver is the target, there will be always jaundice. If brain is the target, there will be different symptoms, like it will not like cough, cold. It will be a headache, vomiting, fits, unconsciousness. So we can just imagine symptoms and sign on infection will be if we know the target or organ. Is that clear? So uh, these are the tissue specific sign and symptom of disease, or you can say sign and symptom of disease are related to organ or tissue which is infected by pathogen. And then beta, last paragraph they have just given about AIDS. AIDS we discuss in detail later on, but a little bit information I want to give regarding this paragraph. Like some pathogen like HIV do not affect a particular organ, but they affect the whole body. HIV virus break down the body immune system, leaving the victim to host of various infection. As a matter of fact, AIDS patient die from secondary infection because of the failure of his own immune system. And AIDS I just discuss in detail. After some time, you just learn about AIDS because this is a very important. I discuss AIDS in detail. Now, बच्चे, next is severity of disease manifestation. It is given in the last paragraph of this topic, organ specific, tissue specific manifestation. Please see the NCERT book, बच्चे. Come to a last paragraph above the principle of treatment. Last paragraph of this topic. हाँ जी. Severity of symptom of disease depend upon the number of the pathogen enter the body and ability of body immune system to fight the pathogen enter. If number of microbes is very less, there may be they just deal with our immune system and symptom of disease may be very insignificant. These may remain unnoticed. If the number of pathogen is very large, symptoms can be life-threatening, and it means severity of symptoms depends upon the number of microbes surviving against body immune system. Or you can say, because I hope everyone is able to understand this paragraph from NCERT book. And this till this like paragraph, your syllabus for August exact assessment, principle of treatment, principle of prevention, and a topic, types of diseases, viral disease, bacterial disease. In viral disease, we will discuss about poliomyelitis, mumps, rabies, hepatitis, bacterial diseases, tuberculosis, cholera, tetanus, influenza, typhoid, different type of vaccination, pulse polio immunization program. We will discuss it later on in separate video. These topics I just covered in next part of video. Today I just discussed this video till the syllabus of August assessment. Now come to AIDS. That is a very important also part of your syllabus for August assessment, and this is a very important. And AIDS in just NCERT book, AIDS is given in your book, second last paragraph of organ specific, tissue specific manifestation, but a very little bit information they have given. We have to just go through in detail. First of all, a meaning of AIDS. What do you mean by AIDS? AIDS is a acquired. It is not born with. It is acquired during a lifetime, transmitted from a person to person. Immune means it is related to body defense system, like it affects the body immune system, part of the body which work to fight against germs. Deficiency, not working properly because malfunctioning of the body immune system. Syndrome, group of signs and symptoms, like someone with AIDS may experience wide range of different diseases. So this is the meaning of AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And most of the time they just ask that full form of AIDS. AIDS is caused by HIV virus. HIV मतलब human immunodeficiency virus. Human just live only in human. Immunodeficiency means damage the immune system of the people it infect. Virus RNA is the virus present in the this AIDS. So what is AIDS? It is a disease in which there is a loss of body immunity and it provides less resistance to infectious disease. Now, what is the difference between HIV and AIDS? Sometimes students get confused with both of these. HIV is a virus and AIDS is disease. HIV develop into AIDS. AIDS is deficiency in the body defense mechanism. AIDS is acquired, not hereditary. What is the incubation period? Incubation period क्या होता है बच्चे? Like exposure to past infection and development of first symptom of disease. The period in between them is called incubation period. It is around 6 months to 6 years. Now mode of transmission. How disease spread? This disease spread from blood products, vaginal fluid, semen, breast milk to baby. Just during labor, delivery, just passed to a fetus, sharing needle, and like the needle that is contaminated and with that AIDS blood, unsterilized blade and razors we just use for shaving, through unprotected sex, oral and anal sex, there is full probability that it can be a transmitted because AIDS is a sexually transmitted disease. How HIV is not transmitted? It is not transmitted by hugging, contact with sweets, tears, urine, bathing, swimming in same pool, sharing cooking utensils, cups, toilet seats, bedding, telephone, eating food prepared by infected person. What are the signs and symptoms? Weight loss, frequent fever, sweating, persistent skin rashes, flaky skin, persistence डायरिया, दैट पर्सन को हमेशा डायरिया रहता ही है, विजन लॉस होने का भी डर रहता है, नजिया, वॉमिटिंग, एब्डोमिनल पेन. Now, how does AIDS affect the immune system? But I already discussed many times in live classes that HIV directly attack on our immune system, and our immune system contains helper cells. These cells produce antibodies, but when the HIV destroys the cell, it becomes very harder for body to fight against infection. And when HIV is left untreated, a minor infection such as cold can be more severe. Cough, it can be just very soon leads to a tuberculosis. So in this way AIDS is a fatal disease. Now how we can just diagnose this disease? Like HIV can be diagnosed through blood or saliva testing. There are certain tests available. This is not part of your syllabus, but you should know all about this diagnosis. Antigen antibody test. These tests involve drawing blood from a vein. Antigen are the substance on the HIV virus. I already discussed that, and it virus, bacteria, the pathogen already contain a protein or carbohydrate molecule, and that is called antigen. And antigens are the substance on HIV virus are usually detectable. A positive test in the blood within a few weeks after exposure to HIV. And antibodies are produced by your immune system when it is exposed to HIV. It can just take week to month for antibodies to become detectable. The combination of antigen and antibody test can take 2 to 6 weeks after the exposure to become positive. Now next is a antibody test. These tests look for antibody to HIV in the blood. Most rapid HIV tests include self-test done at the home. Antibody test can take 3 to 12 weeks after you are exposed to become positive. Nucleic acid test. These tests look for actual virus in your blood. They also involve blood drawn from your vein. If you might have exposed to HIV within the past few weeks, your doctor may recommend that. That will be the first test to become positive after exposure to HIV. What is the treatment? Basically, there is no treatment for this disease, no cure for HIV or AIDS. Once you have the infection, your body can't get rid of it. However, there are many medications that just control the symptom of disease, that control the HIV and prevent complications. These medications are called antiretroviral therapy (ART). Everyone diagnosed with HIV should be started on ART regardless of the stage of infection. ART is usually a combination of 3 or more medications from several different drug classes. This approach has the best chance of lowering the amount of HIV in the blood, and there are many ART options that combine with 3 medication into sorry, one pill taken or one day. Okay, dear students, let me check what you have learned today. My first question is, which one of the following is not a viral disease? First option, dengue. Second option, AIDS. Third option, typhoid. Fourth option, influenza. Okay, beta, tell me. Yes. So, correct answer is typhoid. Yes, I already discussed with you that typhoid is caused by bacteria Salmonella typhi. This is a bacterial disease, not a viral disease, and other are viral disease. Okay, my next question is, which one of the following is not a bacterial disease? First option, cholera. Second is tuberculosis. Third is anthrax. Fourth is influenza. Yes, beta. Tell me, beta. Correct answer is influenza. Beta, because the cholera is a bacterial disease caused by Vibrio cholera. Tuberculosis is also a bacterial disease, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Anthrax is also caused by bacteria. So influenza is not a viral disease. Clear? Next question. Which one of the following disease is not transmitted by mosquito? First option is sorry, brain fever. Second is malaria. Third is typhoid. Fourth is dengue. Yes, me beta, tell me which answer is correct. Yes. Yes. Correct answer is typhoid, because I already discussed with you. Typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhi. It is not transmitted by mosquito. All other diseases are transmitted by mosquitoes. Next question. Which one of following diseases is not caused by bacteria? Typhoid, anthrax, tuberculosis, malaria. Yes, beta. Tell me the answer of this question. Yes. Correct answer is malaria, because it is a vector-borne disease and all other diseases are caused by bacteria. Next question. Which one of the following disease is caused by protozoa? Yes, beta. Which disease is caused by protozoa? Yes, beta. Options are malaria, influenza, AIDS, cholera. Yes, beta. Which disease is caused by protozoan? Yes. Correct answer is yes, beta. Correct answer is, tell me the answer. Correct answer is malaria. Malaria is disease caused by protozoa. Yes, students. Which one of the following has long-term effect on health of individual? First option is common cold. Second is chickenpox. Third is chewing tobacco. Fourth is stress. Yes, bache, which one is correct? Yes, the correct answer is C. Common cold and chickenpox are acute disease which will not produce any long-term effect, and stress can be managed and will not having long-term effect. So chewing tobacco is dangerous as it produces a long-term effect. Next question. Which one of the following can make you ill? if you come in contact with infected person? Yes, options are: first, high blood pressure; second, genetic abnormalities; third, sneezing; fourth, blood cancer. Yes, beta. Tell me which one is correct answer. Yes, correct answer is बच्चे sneezing, because high blood pressure, genetic abnormality, blood cancer, these are the disease caused by, these are non-internal factor, and sneezing is a symptom of common and other respiratory disease which are transmitted through inhalation of the contaminated air. ठीक है, and the other option, they are not non-infectious, not transmitted to other person. Question is, AIDS cannot be transmitted by: first option, sexual contact; second, hug; third, breastfeeding; fourth, blood transfusion. Yes, बच्चे, which one is correct option? Yes, correct option is hug. AIDS is transmitted by exchange of body fluid when we hug each other. Hence, AIDS cannot be transmitted by hugs. It can be transmitted through sexual contact, breastfeeding, blood transfusion. Next question is, making antiviral drug is more difficult than making antibacterial medicine because first option is virus make use of host machinery. Second, virus are on borderline of living and non-living. Third, virus have a few biochemical mechanism of their own. And fourth, virus have a protein code. Correct answer is C. So, बच्चे, correct answer is C. Virus have few biochemical mechanism of their own. Which one of the following causes Kala Azar? Yes, options are Ascaris, Trypanosoma, Leishmania, bacteria. Yes, which one is correct? Yes, बच्चे, Leishmania is correct answer. Okay, next question is, if you live in overcrowded and poorly ventilated house, it is possible that you may suffer from which one of the following disease? First option is cancer, second is AIDS, third is airborne disease, fourth is cholera. Yes, it is very obvious. Answer is airborne diseases. Next question. Yes. Which disease is not transmitted by mosquito? Options are dengue, malaria, brain fever, pneumonia. Not transmitted by mosquito. Yes. Correct answer is pneumonia, because pneumonia is transmitted through contaminated air, not by mosquito. Next question. Which one of the following is not important for individual health? Living in clean space, good economic conditions, social equality and harmony, living in a large, well-furnished house. Correct answer is living in a large, well-furnished house is not important for human health. Yes. Next question. Question is, choose the wrong statement. High blood pressure is caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. Cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. Peptic ulcers are caused by eating folic acid. Acne is not caused by staphylococci. Which thing is wrong? Yes, beta. Yes, it is C. Correct answer is C. Peptic ulcers are caused by eating acidic food, because peptic ulcers are caused by bacterium Helicobacter pylori. It is not caused by eating acidic food. Next question. We should not allow mosquito to breed in our surrounding because they multiply very fast and cause pollution, vectors for many diseases, bite and cause skin diseases, and not important insects. Yes. Answer is they are vector of many diseases, and they are very dangerous as they spread disease like malaria, dengue. Next question. You are aware of polio eradication program in your city. Children are vaccinated because vaccination kills the polio causing microorganism. prevent the entry of polio causing microorganism, create immunity in the body, and all of above. Yes, bache? Yes. So, correct option is it create immunity in the body. As you know, vaccines create immunity against pathogen against which is desired. Next question is virus which cause hepatitis are transmitted through air, water, food, personal contact. Yes, which correct answer is it cause hepatitis transmitted through water, contaminated water. Next question, vector can be defined as animal carrying the infecting agent from sick person to another healthier person, microorganism which cause many diseases, infected person, disease plant. Yes, bache, which is correct answer? Correct answer is A. Animal carrying the infectious agent from sick person to healthy person. Now, dear students, short answer type questions. This you have to do it yourself on your notebook, and very soon you will get answer key on Facebook posting for all these questions, because you have to check with what you have learned. So I have not given answer right now. First question is give two example for each of the following: acute disease, chronic disease, infectious diseases, and non-infectious disease. Next question, name two diseases caused by protozoa. What are their causal organism? Which bacteria cause peptic ulcers? Who discovered the above pathogen for the first time? And name the target organ for the following disease. Hepatitis target like which organ is affected? Fits targets, pneumonia targets, fungal disease targets. Classify the following diseases, infectious or non-infectious. There are certain diseases you have to classify which one is infectious disease and which one is non-infectious. Name any three diseases transmitted through vectors. Explain giving reason. Balanced diet is necessary for maintaining healthy body. Health of organism depend upon the surrounding environmental conditions. Our surrounding area should be free of stagnant water. Social harmony, good economic conditions are necessary for good health. And next question is what is disease and how many types of disease have you been studied? Give examples. So question is, what do you mean by disease? Symptoms, explain giving to example. Why is immune system essential for our health? Why is considered to be syndrome, not disease? And give any four factors necessary for a healthy person. These questions you have to do in notebook. Very soon you will get answer of all these questions on Facebook posting to check whether you have correct or you have written correct answer or not. So, bache, what we have discussed today, we have discussed all the topics till August exams. Next video, I discuss the topic which are left, like principle of treatment, principle of prevention, type of viral diseases, type of bacterial diseases. I just discussed the concept of vaccination, type of immunity, pulse polio immunization program. Hope and about NCRT question, Mandeep sir already covered in different videos. Hope everything is clear to you. But still, if you have certain doubts, please let me know so that I can just clear doubts. Thank you.